Hey everybody, I just had this video pop up on my YouTube feed. It's only about 2 minutes long and I had to react to it. This is, I guess, a bee attack that happened this last week in Arizona, and I wanted to respond from a beekeeper's perspective. So let's push play and watch it together.
We begin tonight with a terrifying situation that played out this evening in a West Valley neighborhood. A swarm of bees attacked, sending one man to the hospital and leaving several others running for help. Good evening and thanks so much for joining us. For 12 News at 10, I'm Kariba Divine.
Okay, pausing there, it looked to me like that wasn't a swarm. Now, they might have their vernacular wrong, but it looks like that was like a sprinkler cover that had some comb built on it. So those bees had probably been there for a minute.
Mark Curtis. In total, 10 people were stung, including 5 kids and 4 firefighters. 12 News journalist Gabriela Becerra is in Surprise near Greenway and Cotton Lane with how neighbors are describing the attack.
The wash in this Surprise neighborhood is now taped off after at least 10 people were attacked by a swarm of bees. Take a look. We can see the honeycomb on top of the lid of a water meter. Firefighters use foam to spray down the area, and now dead bees are scattered on the ground.
I'm still shaking. It was just like, ooh.
A West Valley neighborhood is left shaken after this hive of bees suddenly attacked.
Very chaotic.
Surprise Fire Department says a man was checking his mail when the swarm of bees turned aggressive and stung him multiple times. He went running for help.
He's standing on my porch saying, help me, help me, help me. And I'm like, what's the matter? And he's like, there's bees on me.
Lisa Gray tells us she called 911 as neighbors sprayed him down with water.
Okay, pausing there. Okay, so beekeepers out there, we've been stung all over the place multiple times. Sometimes you'll do one hive inspection and you'll get stung a dozen times or more. And it hurts. Like, it really hurts. So I can imagine for this man that got stung multiple times that it was like serious business. And who knows, like, I think the general population probably hasn't been stung much or if at all, and you don't know if you're allergic or not, and so it can be major, and I'm sure the guy was in pain. The other thing that makes me wonder here, though, is the beehive had clearly been there a while because they had built a hive on the lid of that water meter, and because you can see the comb there. So maybe they had been there a few weeks, maybe multiple months, but either way, I am surprised that this is the first time that they had become aggressive. That seems odd to me. Something has to aggravate a hive of bees to cause them to attack like that. Folks in Arizona, let me know if you feel differently, but maybe there were some sprinklers that were hitting it or some kids that had been jumping on top of the water meter lid. Something. It just wouldn't have come out of nowhere. And if the neighbors hadn't reported anything before, it must have been something that happened just recently.
I could see that they were on his back and he was just pulling on his clothes.
Officials say that man has a large number of stings and was taken to the hospital.
It was scary because we didn't know whether to go toward it or not.
On the other side of the wash, a group of kids on bikes rode right into the swarm.
Heard somebody screaming, help me, help me, help me.
First responders rushed the kids into fire trucks for a quick escape.
I seen the boy running and batting at his head, and
So it must have been they are calling this a swarm. So there must have been hundreds, maybe thousands of bees out attacking these kids, which seems, again, so odd that they would have left the hive and there was no signs of this prior, or at least that the news is reporting.
had a sweatshirt over his head, took off running and screaming even louder.
5 kids were stung, but officials say none were allergic and their parents took them home. 4 firefighters were also stung. Leandra Edwards says the bees spanned across the neighborhood.
One neighbor came driving up and she had bees.
Okay, as we look at the close-up of that comb there, it looks pretty new. Like, that's white comb, which means it's new, it's fresh. They've probably just been there for a few weeks. I don't know if these were Africanized bees. Again, surprised that they hadn't attacked anybody prior to this. There must have been something that aggravated them. But looking at the comb, this was probably a pretty fresh hive.
in her car, and she jumped out, and I was helping her get him out of her hair. And then one came and stuck my husband in the head.
A beekeeper helped assess the situation, and it appears firefighters used foam to stop the attack.
I know they took care of it, so hopefully it won't happen again.
The man who was taken to the hospital is expected to be okay. In Surprise, Gabriella Becerra.
Okay, well, I'm glad the gentleman that was taken to the hospital will be okay. You don't know the type of allergic reaction that one could have. Grateful that people are safe. Super interesting. Would love to hear from other beekeepers out there, their assessment of this situation, and any folks in Arizona, if this is a common type of occurrence. Thank you for joining me on this commentary and reaction video. Like and subscribe as always. Talk to you soon.